Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Curvia John. In the headlines, government advances title transfer process for national housing beneficiaries. Dominica strengthens wellness tourism as key pillar of tourism product. And $70 million DOMCREP to boost climate resilience and food security. The details of the headline stories and more when we return. Welcome back. Progress is being made in providing certificates of title to housing beneficiaries across the country. The initiative will give homeowners legal ownership of properties provided through government's housing program.
The government gave somebody a house that they didn't have to pay for. All right? In most countries, this home will remain the property of the state until the person dies and is passed on to somebody else. This government has taken an extraordinary decision to facilitate Dominican citizens who have received a home at no charge to them, a title. Okay? And we have gone further and we have brought in an attorney to specifically give attention to this process. And there has been great diligence. The cabinet has approved a number of them. And just this week in cabinet, we approved another 15 or 16 to process. And progress has been made.
The Prime Minister says the ongoing transfer of legal ownership to recipients of state-funded homes reflects the fulfillment of commitments made under the National Housing Program, despite criticism of the initiative.
The same lawyer were the ones who were telling them, government give you a house and no title. Now that the people getting a title, they're telling the same people, do not sign the document to receive a title. All of them are going around. Oh, we fool the people. The same thing they were saying when I said to people up in the Savannah and Dubik that we will build homes for them. People question the truthfulness of my commitment. Then when we started building the homes, they were saying, oh, where are you getting the money? You won't finish. The money is going to stop. You can't finish that. That's too big a project. It was completed by the grace of God.
The title transfer process demonstrates government's commitment to housing beneficiaries, despite spurious claims that the promise would never be fulfilled.
Every time they get opportunity to speak political nonsense, they say, oh, no titles for them. Where are you titled? They give you a house. They're out yours. They're going to put you outside. Now that the people are getting the titles, which you're required to sign as an acknowledgement of it to the government system. So the process is completed. You understand? It has gone through the process in law, and then you sign acknowledging the documentation. Once you sign acknowledging documentation, then it brings to an end the government's responsibility. The title now belongs to you in an undisputed manner, protected by the provisions of the Constitution. That is your property. That you can bequeath to your children. Now the government is keeping to its promise to the people of Dominica. And some stupid lawyer telling them, don't sign. Don't sign. I mean, come on.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Mr. Claudius Lestrade, says wellness tourism is already a natural strength of Dominica's tourism product, rooted in long-standing traditions and experiences such as hot springs, herbal remedies, local cuisine, and nature-based activities. Mr. Lestrade says the focus now is on strengthening and positioning the sector for further development rather than introducing it as something new. He delivered the opening remarks at a panel discussion on wellness tourism in Dominica, a destination that benefits everyone.
Wellness tourism aligns naturally with Dominica's strengths. Wellness has long been recognized as one of the pillars of our tourism sector, and many of the experiences now associated with wellness tourism have existed in Dominica for decades. From our hot springs and wellness retreats to our herbal traditions, fresh local foods, and opportunities for immersion in nature, wellness has long been a part of Dominica's experience. Today's discussion is therefore not about introducing wellness tourism. Rather, it is about examining how we can continue to develop, strengthen, and position this important area of our tourism product.
Mr. Lestrade said wellness tourism aligns naturally with Dominica's strength and supports the country's long-term tourism development goals. He also noted that the newly established Wellness Tourism Advisory Committee will help ensure that development within the sector remains coordinated, sustainable, and responsive to the needs of industry stakeholders and communities.
The committee's work will also be strengthened by the ideas, experiences, and perspectives shared through discussions such as today's. The theme for this panel reminds us that wellness tourism in a destination is a destination's opportunity that can benefit everyone. The benefits extend beyond hotels and tourism businesses. They can create value for wellness practitioners, farmers, entrepreneurs, artisans, transportation providers, accommodation operators, and communities whose products, services, and experiences contribute to the visitor journey.
The committee's work will also help enhance the visitor experience and strengthen the overall tourism product. Dominica is taking another major step in its efforts to strengthen climate resilience and protect vulnerable communities with the newly launched $70.2 million initiative designed to improve livelihoods, boost food security, and enhance disaster preparedness. The Dominica Community Resilience Enhancement Project, known as DOMCREP, forms part of government's wider strategy to help communities adapt to the growing impacts of climate change. Prime Minister the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says the project reflects the country's continued commitment to building resilience at every level of society.
This project represents another significant milestone in Dominica's resilience journey. Over the years, we have invested heavily in resilient housing, roads, bridges, healthcare facilities, schools, renewable energy, and disaster preparedness systems. DOMCREP builds on these efforts by ensuring that the people most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change are better equipped to adapt, recover, and thrive.
Funded by the Green Climate Fund and implemented in partnership with the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center, the initiative is expected to directly benefit more than 8,000 residents living in vulnerable communities across the island. Officials say the project builds on years of investment in resilient infrastructure, housing, renewable energy, healthcare facilities, and disaster preparedness systems aimed at reducing the country's vulnerability to natural hazards and climate-related events. The focus now is on ensuring that communities most at risk have greater access to the resources and support needed to withstand and recover from those challenges.
DOMCREP builds on these efforts by ensuring that the people most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change are better equipped to adapt, recover, and thrive. Funded by the Green Climate Fund and implemented in partnership with the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center, the project will directly benefit more than 8,000 people across 8 vulnerable communities.
Agriculture will play a central role in the program, with hundreds of farmers and agro-processors expected to benefit from measures designed to strengthen food production and improve resilience within the sector. Support will include modern irrigation systems, greenhouse technology, and climate-smart farming practices intending to help farmers increase productivity while adapting to changing weather patterns.
More than 520 farmers and agro-processors will receive support through climate-smart technologies, irrigation systems, greenhouses, and other interventions designed to strengthen food security and increase agricultural productivity, and of course, put more money in the pockets of the farmers.
The initiative will improve water security, strengthen disaster preparedness, and create new opportunities for communities across the island. Government says the project is an important investment in Dominica's resilience and long-term development. You're watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. The government of Dominica has continued to engage citizens, businesses, community organizations, and other stakeholders as part of the consultation process leading up to the preparation of the 2026-2027 national budget. The Prime Minister has expressed gratitude to all those who participated and shared their perspectives, concerns, and recommendations.
These consultations remain an important part of our commitment to ensuring that the budget reflects the realities, aspirations, and priorities of the Dominican people. We're preparing this budget at a time when countries around the world continue to face significant economic uncertainty. The effects of global inflation, supply chain disruptions, geopolitical tensions, and climate-related challenges continue to place pressures on households and governments alike.
With global economic pressures continuing to affect countries around the world, government says this year's budget is being crafted to support growth, create opportunities, and safeguard the most vulnerable members of society.
Dominica is not immune to these realities. However, we're approaching this budget with a clear understanding that our responsibility is to protect the most vulnerable, support economic growth, create opportunities for our people, and at the same time, maintain fiscal responsibility and stability.
This year's budget will focus on easing pressures on households while maintaining investments in key sectors that support economic growth, job creation, and national development.
Citizens can expect a budget that seeks to balance prudence with compassion. We remain committed to measures which help ease the cost of living burden on families, support job creation, strengthen agriculture and food security, invest in the healthcare and education, expand opportunities for young people, and continue the infrastructure investments that are transforming communities and strengthening national resilience, and policies which can make doing business in Dominica more efficient and profitable.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, and the Dominica National Conservation Trust Fund, DNCTF, officially handed over grant support to deserving individuals under the Caribbean Regional Architecture for Biodiversity (CRAB) grant program. The ceremony highlighted two important conservation initiatives, including the rapid response to lethal yellowing disease in coconut ecosystems and coral reef restoration, monitoring, surveillance, and compliance. Albert Paul is the chairman of the Dominica National Conservation Trust Fund. He says a total of $93,000 will be invested in Dominica.
Through the Caribbean Regional Architecture for Biodiversity (CRAB) Pro-Nature Grant Facility, supported by the Caribbean Biodiversity Fund, a total of $93,000 will be invested into two biodiversity projects here on Dominica, with an additional $10,000 dedicated to technical support and capacity building for project implementation. This project was not selected by chance. The DNCTF undertook consultations with government, agencies, civil society, organizations, community groups, and technical stakeholders to identify priority conservation needs. The proposals were then reviewed through a rigorous evaluation process involving our donor partners and our technical advisory committee. This project selected today reflects our commitment to addressing urgent environmental challenges while strengthening community resilience and supporting sustainable livelihoods.
Mr. Paul says the goal is to enhance protection in Dominica's ecosystems, as this will positively contribute to local livelihoods.
The first project, Rapid Response to Lethal Yellowing Disease, will be implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture. Coconut palms are an iconic feature on Dominica's coastline and play an important role in biodiversity, tourism, coastal protection, and local livelihoods. The second project, Coral Reef Restoration, monitoring, surveillance, compliance within the Soufriere Scotshead Marine Reserve, will be implemented by the Oceans Forward. The project will expand coral restoration efforts, strengthen monitoring and surveillance, and enhance protection within one of Dominica's most important marine ecosystems. Healthy coral reefs support fisheries, protect coastlines, sustain biodiversity, and contribute significantly to local livelihoods. Together, this project represents a strategic investment in both terrestrial and marine biodiversity while advancing the ecosystem-based adaptation and pro-nature objectives of the CRAB program.
The grant award ceremony marks another step in Dominica's commitment to biodiversity conservation, supporting initiatives aimed at protecting critical ecosystems while strengthening sustainable livelihoods for present and future generations. And now for your weather updates. A high-pressure system is expected to be dominant across the Northern Lesser Antilles over the next 24 hours. As a result, a relatively dry and stable atmosphere can be expected despite occasional cloudiness and a few showers. Gusty winds can also be expected. Saharan dust can be expected to persist over the next 24 hours. As a result, hazy skies, reduced air quality and visibility, and warmer than normal conditions are anticipated. Persons with asthma, allergies, or other respiratory conditions are encouraged to limit prolonged outdoor activities and to take the necessary precautions to avoid health complications. Sea conditions are forecast to remain slight to moderate during the next 24 hours. Wave heights are expected to reach around 3 feet along the western coast and near 7 feet along the eastern coast. Caution is advised due to reduced visibility. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I am Curvia John. Thank you for watching and have a great weekend.